Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. In this video we are doing the best ceramic wheel coating, taking 4 market leading offerings and testing them to hell and back with both a lab style test using the Gonio photometer and test plates, but also simply applying these products to 2 different cars and observing them over 6 months, and ultimately providing you with a recommendation on what is the best product there can be. Only one. Cue the intro. Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel, guys. Great to see you. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's get straight into this video with test number 1, which is value for money, and I'll introduce the products at the same time to save time. So the first product in the test, guys, and the most expensive, is Gtechniq C5, which cost me just under £22 for 15ml of product, which translates roughly for what I paid to around £43 to £44 for 30ml, which is how I'm doing the comparison. The next product in this comparison, and the third most expensive, is the Carbon Collective Platinum Wheels. I love that name, Carbon Collective. It's a very cool name. This product costs £20 for 15ml, which translates to around £40 for 30ml. Our next product, coming in second place in the value, is Carpro DLUX, which costs £30 for 30ml, which was the smallest size that I could get it in. So that's significantly cheaper than the other two. But the other two, I'm having to scale them up, so you could argue that creates a slight imbalance. But either way, this is cheaper than the other 2 products. And finally, the last product in the test, and the one offering the best value, is Gyeon Rim, which costs £28 for 30ml. Next up, guys, is the quality of the instructions, which I think is a very important category, especially when you're installing ceramics for the first time, with all the different types of alloy wheels you've got, all the questions you might have around layering, temperature requirements, environmental requirements. This is a very important category. Okay, and last place on the instructions is Carpro DLUX. Why? There was no information on suitability around alloy wheel types on the instructions that came with it. I'm not including whether I go Googling and finding this information on the instructions. So I don't know if I could use this on bare metal alloys, matte alloys, satin finish, all the different types of finishes you get. No idea. It also didn't state, it sounds obvious, to clean and decon the alloy wheel surface to get it prepped for the coating. Couldn't find any information on that in the instructions that came with it. There was no information on layering guidelines. You know, you put one coat down. Can I put another coat on top? How long can I wait? I'd assume if there's no information on layering, perhaps it can't be layered. I don't know. There are also no temperature requirements. You know, on a very hot, humid day, these apply very radically different to perhaps a day where it's 0 degrees in winter. When it's 0 degrees, the carrier of this doesn't tend to flash away at all, really. Radically different to when it's, say, 20 or 30 degrees, which is an ideal time to install. So I could have done with some guidelines on temperature requirements. The installation instructions also for alloy wheels do not state that you need to buff the coating to level it. So if you follow the instructions, apply it to the applicator and put it all over your alloy wheels, and you've got high spots, or you've got bits where the applicator has smudged it, a buff can tidy the coating up. Of course, to someone that's experienced with coating alloy wheels, they'll know this, but someone doing it for the first time will follow the instructions verbatim. This product's been out for, I think, over 10 years, so I was very surprised to not find the information about buffing it and leveling the coating on the instructions. In third place with the quality of the instructions, or the information that was missing, was Gyeon. So there was 3 critical bits of information that I was left looking for after reading the instructions. Layering requirements, no mention of it. Temperature requirements around application, and suitability of alloy wheels. In second place on the information, generally every base covered apart from the following. Again, layering info and suitability of alloy wheel types. And in first place, guys, well done to Carbon Collective Platinum Wheels, because It told you about the layering requirements, it told you about the suitability of alloy wheels, and it tells you about the temperature requirements. All the questions that I had were primarily covered. So this had the best instructions, and this is not complicated stuff. And the more that the companies put this on their instructions, the less confusion there's going to be for their customers or anyone new to their products. It's a good thing. So these guys have got it right. The only thing I couldn't find was them stating about cleaning and specifically deconning the alloys first, because I think it's very important. Alloys that are not brand new are going to be covered in contamination, so it's just important to state about the preparation process a bit better. So that's the only thing that it wasn't perfect on, but credit where credit's due. Most of the base is covered from carbon collected platinum wheels. Next up, ease of application of these products. Quite simply, which are the nicest ones to work with so that you can get a clean, smear, streak, high spot free finish on your alloy wheels. In last place is Carpro DLUX. Now do not count the fact that it's in last place that this is an awful product to apply and be scared of this ceramic coating or anything like that. But this is the stickiest coating. There's kind of like two types of coatings to apply. There's silky smooth coatings and sticky coatings. Why are some of them sticky? Well, some of them contain other resins from the primary ceramic that it's backboned with. They mix in other resins to perhaps give you more hydrophobic performance or a glossier coating or whatever they may be claiming. Potentially some of the other resins that are mixed into this product might be making it a little bit more kind of draggy and sticky. So you just have to be a little bit careful. This is still a relatively easy product to spread over the alloy wheel, but it can be a thicker product to buff. And when products are stickier and thicker to buff, there's a higher risk of smearing them because you can't just gently go over the alloy and level it. You have to use a little bit of pressure if you're going to make contact with it. Sometimes what I find is you can play around with your technique, and I think with this the key is to buff it sooner rather than later. And after you've buffed or leveled it as best you can, I like to get another softer cloth and go over the alloy and just make sure it's all nice and clean and kind of shiny with, you know, no spots at all, with a good light source. But this is the hardest of the four coatings, I believe, to work with. In third place is Gyeon Rim. Now this is similar to the Carpro coating. I'm not going to chat on about it for ages. All the things I've said about the Carpro coating are basically true of the Gyeon one, but I just find it slightly less sticky and a bit easier to work with and level, so it's in third place. In second place, guys, we have carbon collected platinum wheels. There's a big difference between how this is to spread. It's like spreading a thin, loose oil like baby oil. It's lovely to spread, but there is a massive difference with how it is to buff. It's so light to buff and there is no stickiness at all. It's much more pleasant to work with, and it's come second. And in first place, guys, just like the platinum wheels, the Gtechniq C5 is so silky to lay out and buff. It really is a nice coating to work with, and it's very hard to smudge or smear or create little drag marks or anything like that. As long as you make sure you get your coverage and you level the entire coating, you make contact everywhere, tidy it all up, you're going to be absolutely fine. Why did I put this first over the platinum wheels? Well, funny enough, the bottle, they're both smooth, easy coatings, but the Gtechniq bottle is nicer to work with and the product flows out of the applicator much better. This bottle has a little plastic sort of flap that you have to push back down in the top to seal it, and has a little hole in it that comes out. It doesn't have this tube, and when you try and tip the platinum product, it doesn't flow out of the hole as well. And sometimes you tip it and it can fling off, and you can miss your applicator and put a bit of ceramic on your workbench or on the tips of your fingers where you don't want it when you're pushing down the kind of flappy stopper thing again. So quite simply, when the two products are very close, I'm looking for anything to differentiate the application, and the Gtechniq bottle just was much easier to use. And going purely on application, it was enough to make a difference to put the Gtechniq in first place. Next up, glosser appearance, guys. We are prepping a panel, polishing it all up, degreasing it, applying the products, giving them a full cure over about 4 or 5 days, leaving the panel in here, and then taking readings with our RoPoint IQ gonio photometer. And the results are as follows. Okay guys, in 4th place overall was Gtechniq C5, which gave us a gloss reading average of 80.4, which was about up to 1 to 2 units. There was a little bit there different with the other products. And it had a log haze reading of 7.9, which was the best actually, the lowest log haze reading, but it was down a little bit on the gloss readings. I'll talk a little bit about how important these tests are in a second. After this, in 3rd place was Carbon Collective, which measured 81.2 units of gloss, so a little bit higher, but it had the highest haze reading of 10.1. Okay, so 2 units of hot haze with 5 reading average, higher than the Gtechniq. The next one was was Gyeon Rim with a 81.2, so the same average as the Carbon Collective gloss reading, but an 8.9 log haze reading, so slightly improved on the haze front. Note, this did have a good darkening effect on the panel that was noticeable over the Carbon Collective and Gtechniq products. You could see the dark square, and we'll talk about that later on. And the best appearance data overall was Carpro DLUX with 82.2, the highest average gloss reading over 5 readings, and a log haze of 8.7, which was the second best log haze average as well. So the best looking coating according to the gonio photometer is Carpro DLUX. Worth saying, this also had that darkening effect on that section of the panel. And next up guys, hydrophobicity, the thing we all love. The water flying off the panels and stuff like that, which is a contentious subject because the water repellency of a material, of a protective material, might not be the most important thing. And some people argue that extreme hydrophobicity and beading is something which you don't want on a coating. So there you go. Whether or not you like it is up to you, and we mark these in individual tests so you can disregard this test if you're not interested in hydrophobicity. Okay, in last place, the least hydrophobic, whoa, it started raining, was Carbon Collective Platinum wheels. It's slightly hydrophobic. On application you'll see that hydrophobicity, but within a few months of the coating being on, that hydrophobicity will be quite disappointing. And I think it's fair to say that if you're a hydrophobe bead nut, that this product might not be for you. What I just said about the Carbon Collective product is exactly the same with the C5. The water behaviour of these two products is almost identical, and I would describe them as only slightly hydrophobic, and I'll overlay you the results of what I'm seeing, so if you can decide if that's a fair statement or not, so you can be the judge. In 3rd place on hydrophobicity on application was Carpro DLUX. This is a different level of hydrophobicity. It's extremely water repellent. It holds the water off. So, you know, it's nice to see that in a way, especially when you're doing testing and stuff like that. And you kind of get a warm feeling when you go and wash your car for the first time and it's throwing everything off. Yeah, so very hydrophobic and virtually neck and neck with the Carpro DLUX product. Gyeon Rim, I thought, just had a slight edge on hydrophobicity, but very, very close. Next up is durability, guys, which is an important thing. So 4 ways of measuring this. My test panel that we applied this to has been sitting outside on my little felt roof of my shed outside, which you've probably seen if you follow the channel, which is under a tree, and it's got peppered in like little etchings of sap and things like this. It's even got scratch marks on it where I think a cat has tried to jump up on the roof. and got the shock of his life, because instead of getting his claws into nice felt roof where he can pull himself up, there was a forensics detailing test panel there. He didn't anticipate that, did he? So his body ended up slipping back down and falling on the floor, poor little thing. I'll teach him to ruin my tests. So I can't measure. There's so much contamination and marks and marring and etching and bird poo and rubbish on this panel that the gonophotometer readings are just all over the shop. I can't find a clear bit of panel like it was when it was all freshly prepped, where I'm getting consistent readings. So I can't deter from the gonophotometer which one looks the best. I can see the hydrophobic performance of the test panel, which I've cleaned off every now and then whenever I'm cleaning my cars, like my other ongoing tests that I've got out there. Durability wise, I think from the test panel, the Carpro Products looks like it's held up the best. So DLUX wins that one, followed by Gyeon, followed by Gtechniq, followed by Platinum wheels. Again, the Gtechniq and the Platinum wheels are quite similar. They're not highly hydrophobic, but there is a slight difference between them. And again, there's a slight difference between the Carpro, and the Carpro is a clear winner. The next thing is I also installed these alloys as part of this test on my BMW Club Sport alloys and my BMW M140 alloys. Looking at my Club Sport alloys, and if I had to guess which, just, you know, after cleaning them down and then looking which ones are still showing their repellency, again, it's the Carpro product that looks the best, followed by the Gyeon, followed by the Gtechniq, and followed by the Platinum wheels. So hopefully if you've watched all these videos, you know what these products do well and you can focus in on what you want. A quick summary, guys. If you're looking for coatings which are very easy to apply, maybe if you're a first time coating user, where you can also buy a minimum quantity of 15ml for not a lot of money, but they're a little bit more pricier than the other ones at these sizes, then I do recommend Gtechniq C5 or Carbon Collective Platinum wheels. So nice to work with. I mean that. They are really nice products to work with if you're not so worried about all this hydrophobic performance, because they're not as hydrophobic as the other two products. The opposite end of the scale, guys, Carpro DLUX offers good value, but it's a bit harder to work with, a little bit of a stickier coating, and the instructions I think could be a little bit better with this product. However, this product, once you've got it laid down, it's really hydrophobic and it's really durable and has a good darkening effect on the panel as well. So it's almost like slightly trickier to use, but with a little bit more performance according to my durability tests and things like that. And the winner, guys, is similar to the DLUX product, but overall it's a little bit easier to use. As always with my tests, guys, the value is really important, and at £28 for 30ml, this ticks a box on value, and that's significantly cheaper than the others as well. And it's a product that's done everything well, and as I've said before, that tends to be the one that picks up the most marks. As with any of the tests that I do, guys, I try and run them fairly. I've bought all 4 products. And I'm trying to show you the results as I go through it, so you can decide whether or not the test is biased, which is an important question to ask whenever you see any type of kind of online review. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. Just give me a couple more seconds. First of all, what I want you to do is put in the comments what alloy wheel ceramic coating you favour and why. It's very hard to do more than 4 products in this test, but if this is a popular video, we may well go again later on. However, guys, this video is likely to cost me more money to produce than the video makes, and that's the truth. So if you get any value and you follow the recommendations out this stuff, please consider checking the Patreon link in the channel, because that's the only way that doing YouTube is viable for me. And a huge thank you to all of the patrons that support the channel. And go and check out all the different tiering options, guys, because there's some other things other than just supporting me that you can get back, like entering monthly contests or things like that. So go check out the Patreon page. Last thing, guys, ceramic coating for alloy wheels, they are the best we've got. Understand that you are not putting some miracle product on your alloy wheels. They will get eroded out of the barrels. But when they're fresh, you can really see that it makes your alloys a lot easier to clean for perhaps the first half of their year stint. After 6 months, that's going to be less visible. But I believe these materials are durable, will last, and I wouldn't get too hung up on the hydrophobic performance of a coating. Be aware that these resins will stick around and are worth checking out. Non-ceramic products on alloy wheels, I don't think there are that many benefits, to be honest. Let me know what you think on that whole particular subject. I know we've all got different things, but I think if you're going to take the effort of taking these wheels off, decontaminating and polishing, which takes you a good 4 hours, once you've done all that, you might as well try and put the best, most durable forms of protection that we've got. And also, it's really important for me to say that I've picked 4 credible options in this. These are perhaps the market leading ones where there's a lot of talk and most of you are using. So just because a product hasn't picked up the most marks doesn't mean it's not the best. I understand that this is just an attempt to give you my view and rate these products. So I appreciate that. And hopefully the information I've given you on what to buy and what to look for within the products is very important. And like I've said, the overall winner might not be the one that's right for you if you're starting for the first time. So there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Also join us on Instagram and Facebook on the Forensics Detailing channel. And don't forget our backup channel, the Forensics Unplugged, where you get all the behind the scenes good stuff. So take care, and that's it for this one. Bye now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?